Isn't it the universal opinion that our town is a healthy spot?
Certainly.
Quite an unusual healthy spot, in fact. A place that deserves to be recommended in the warmest possible manner, either for individual invalids or for the people who are well.
Yes, but Thomas.
And we have been recommending it and praising it. I have written and written, both in the messenger and in pamphlets.
Well, what then?
And the baths, we have called them the main artery of the town's lifeblood, and the nerve center of our town, and the devil knows what else.
The town's pulsating heart was the expression I once used in an important occasion.
Quite so. Well, do you know what they really are, these great, splendid, much-praised baths that have cost so much money? Do you know what they are?
No, what are they?
The whole place is a pest house.
The baths?
The whole bath is a whited, poison speculaker, I tell you. The gravest possible danger to the public health. All the nastiness up in Maladil, all the stinking filth is infecting the water in the conduit pipes leading to the reservoir, and the same cursed, filthy poison oozes out into our shore too.
Where the bathing place is?
Just there.
How do you come by to be so certain of all this, Doctor?
I have investigated the matter most consciously. For a long time past, I have suspected something of the kind. Last year, we had some very strange cases of illnesses among the visitors, typhoid cases, and cases of gastric fever.
Quite true.
At the time, we supposed the visitors had been infected, but they came. But later on the winter, I began to have a different opinion, and so I set myself to examine the water as well as I could.
And is that what you've been busy with?
Indeed, I have been very busy. But here I have none of the necessary scientific apparatus, so I sent samples, both of the drinking water and of the seawater, up to the university to have an accurate analysis made by a chemist.
And have you got that now?
Here it is. It proves presence of decomposing organic matter in the water. It is full of insophoria. The water is absolutely dangerous to use, either internally or externally.
What a mercy you discovered it in time.
You may well say so.
And what do you propose we do now, Doctor?
To see the matter put right naturally. Come on in.
Good morning.
Glad to see you, Peter. How are you?
So, thank you. I received from you yesterday after office hours a report dealing with the condition of the water at the baths.
Yes. Have you read it?
Yes, I have.
And what have you got to say?
Was it necessary to make all these investigations behind my back?
Well, yes, because until I was absolutely certain about it.
Then you mean you are absolutely certain now?
Surely you are convinced of that.
Is it your intention to bring this document before the Baths Committee as a sort of official communication?
Certainly. Something must be done in the matter, and that quickly.
As usual, you employ violent expressions in your report. You say, amongst other things, that what we offer visitors in our baths is a permanent supply of poison.
Well, can you describe it in any other way, Peter? Just think. Water that is poisonous, whether you drink it or bathe in it. And this we offer to the poor sick folk who have come to us trustworthy and pay us an exorbitant rate to make well again.
And your reasoning leads you to this conclusion that we must build a sewer to draw off the alleged impurities from Maladal and must relay the water conduits?
Yes. Do you see any other way out of it? Because I don't.
I made a pretext this morning to go and see the town engineer, and as if only half seriously broached the subject of these proposals as a thing we might perhaps have to take under consideration on a time later on.
Some time later on?
He smiled at what he considered to be my extravagance, naturally. Have you taken the trouble to consider what your proposed alterations would cost? According to the information I obtained, these expenses would probably mount up to 15 or 20,000 pounds.
Would it cost so much?
Yes, and the worst part is that it would be for work that would take at least 2 years.
2 years? 2 whole years?
At least. And what are we going to do with the baths in the meantime? Close them? Indeed, we should be obliged to. And do you suppose that anyone would come near the place after it had gotten out about that the water is so dangerous? I'm done with this discussion.
Oh. Hutch, come in. Good to see you, Doctor.
We must have to put you to work, Mr. Hofstad.
Is it that time already?
Yes, print away. Undoubtedly has come to that. Now we must have to take what they get. There is going to be a fight in the town, Mr. Billing.
War to the knife, I hope. Will we get our knives to their throats?
This article is only a beginning. I have already got 4 or 5 more sketched out of my head. Where is Aslickson?
Aslickson, come here. So 4 or 5 more articles, did you say? On the same subject?
No, far from it, my dear fellow. No, they're about quite another matter, but they all spring from the same question of the water supply and the drainage. One thing leads to another, you know. It's like the beginning to pull down an old house. Exactly.
Upon my soul, it's true. You are not done till you've pulled up all the old rubbish.
Pulled down? You're not thinking of pulling down all the baths for sure, are you, Doctor?
Far from it. Don't be afraid.
No, we meant something quite different. Well, what do you think of my article, Mr. Hofstad?
Well, I think it's simply a masterpiece.
Do you really think so? Well, I am very pleased. Very pleased.
It is so clear and intelligible. One need I have no special knowledge to understand the bearing of it. You will have every enlightened man on your side.
And every prudent man, too, I hope.
The prudent and the imprudent. Almost the whole town.
In that case, we may venture to print it.
I should think so.
We will put it in the tomorrow morning paper.
Of course, we must not lose a single day. What I wanted to ask you, Mr. Aslickson, was if you wanted to supervise the printing of it yourself.
With pleasure.
Take care of it as if it were a treasure. No misprint. Every word is important. I will look in again a little later. Perhaps if you will be able to let me see a proof. I can't tell you how eager I am to see it in print, and see it burst upon the public.
Burst upon them like a flash of lightning.
And to have it submitted to the judgment of my intelligible fellow townsmen. You cannot imagine what I have gone through today. I have been threatened first with one thing and then another, and they tried to rob me of my most elementary rights as a man.
That is too much. I'm damned of it.
Oh, you mustn't be surprised at anything from that quarter. Well, they will give the worst of that to me. They may assure themselves of that. I shall consider the people's messenger my sheet anchor now. And every single day I will be bombarded with one article after another, like bombshells.
Yes, but...
Hurrah! It is war! It is war!
I shall smite them to the ground. I shall crush them. I shall break them down to their defenses before the eyes of the honest public. That is what I should do.
There's a letter here for you, Thomas.
Let me see it. Ah, of course.
Who is it from?
From the land ward. A notice to quit.
Is it possible? He's such a nice man.
Does not dare to do otherwise, he says. Doesn't like doing it, but dare not do otherwise. On account of his fellow citizens out of regard for public opinion. It is in a dependent position. Dare not offend certain influential men.
There, you see, Thomas?
Yes, I see well enough. The whole lot of them in the town are cowards. Not a man among them dares to do anything for fear of the others. But it doesn't matter to us, Catherine. We are going to sail away to the new world, and...
But Thomas, are you sure we're well advised to take that step?
Are you suggesting that I should just stay here where they have pillared me as an enemy of the people, branded me, broken my windows, and just look here, Catherine. They have torn a great rent in my black trousers, too.
Oh dear, those are your best pair.
You should have never worn your best trousers when you go into the fight for freedom and truth. It is not that I care so much about the trousers, you know. You can always sew them up again for me, but that common herd dare not make this attack on me. As it were my equals, that is what I cannot, for the life of me, swallow.
There's no doubt they have behaved very ill toward you, Thomas. But is that sufficient reason for our leaving our native country, for good and all?
If we went to another town, do you suppose we should not find the common people just as insolent as they are here? Depend upon it, there is not much to choose between them. Oh well, let the cures snap. That is not the worst part of it. The worst part is that, from one end of this country to another, every man is a slave to his party. Although as far as it goes, I dare say it is not much better in the free West either. The compact majority, the liberal public opinion, and all the things are done on a large scale, you see. They may kill you, but they won't put you to death by slow torture. They don't squeeze a free man's soul into vice, as they do here. If it need be, one can live in solitude. If I can only knew what were a virgin forest or a small South Sea island for sale cheap.
But think of the boys, Thomas.
What a strange woman you are, Catherine. Would you prefer to have the boys grow up in a society like this? You saw for yourself last night that the half of the population are out of their minds. And if the other half aren't lost their senses, it's because they are mere brutes, with no sense to lose.
But Thomas, dear, the imprudent things you said may have had something to do with it.
Well, isn't that what I said perfectly true? Don't they turn every idea topsy-turvy? Don't they make regular hodgepodge of the right thing? Don't they say these things that they know are lies? The craziest part of it all is the fact that these liberals, men of full age, going around in crowds, imagine that they are the broad-minded party. Do you ever see or hear anything like that, Catherine?
Yes, it's mad enough from them, but certainly... Oh, Petra, you're home from school already?
Yes, I have been given my notice of dismissal.
Dismissal?
You too?
Mrs. Busk gave me my notice, so I thought it was best to go at once.
You were perfectly right, too.
Who would have thought Mrs. Busk was a woman like that?
Mrs. Busk isn't a bit like that, Mother. I saw quite plainly how it hurt her to do it, but she didn't dare do otherwise, she said. And so I got my notice.
She didn't care to do otherwise either. It's delicious.
Well, after the dreadful scenes last night...
It was not only that. Just listen to this, Father.
Well,
Mrs. Busk showed me something no less than 3 letters she received this morning.
anonymous, I suppose.
Yes.
Yes, because they didn't care to risk signing their names, Catherine. It seems we've all been exiled. And that's it.